nobodies. So, here tonight with my friend Pressy. And Pressy brought me Mousy. You like Mousy? You like Mousy? You want me to throw Mousy? I throw Mousy. We do. Mousy gone. Go get Mousy. Go get Mousy. Okay, so today was better. I made it to a store, not necessarily the one that I set out to go to when I left the house, but I did make it to the store. So, I mean, you gotta take the small victory. And then when I was done, I decided to go for a little drive, and I did okay. Even when I went to the gas station, a particular one, so I could get UFOs. They did not have any, so I had an ice cream sandwich instead. Didn't know if I'd be able to eat all of it, but did eat all of it slowly. But I did make it. I mean, that's one of the bad things about having an uptick of anxiety is that it makes you cautious. Because, I mean, people who don't have anxiety attacks have no clue how absolutely horrible they are. I mean, it's, when you see somebody who's got anxiety and they're like, oh, well, I'll just hang out at the house. I don't want to go do this. I don't want to go do that. And people figure, oh, well, they're just letting their illness control them. And let me tell you, an anxiety attack is hell. It is my definition of, I mean, screw like fire and pitchforks and shit. No. Hell should just be a bunch of people getting anxiety attacks and not being able to like basically that they sit there and then somebody grabs them up and if they're not completely still, they have an anxiety attack. That would be hell. And so a lot of people live with this daily. People who have it so much worse than me. Because, see, like, I'm not agoraphobic, but it's getting to where it when my anxiety is bad, it acts like agoraphobia where I don't want to go anywhere. It has taken away travel. Last time I went to the last trip I took was to Corpus Christi in 2016. And I remember having like a slight anxiety attack on the way, but it wasn't bad. And, like I just stuck my face out the window. I rolled down the window some and just let the breeze blow my head. But with me possibly coming up with like perimenopause or maybe full blown menopause, I don't know. Hot flashes are a bad thing because, see, that's part of the whole anxiety thing is that I will be hot-headed in the middle of an anxiety attack. It'll either be my forehead or the back of my neck. And another thing people don't realize about anxiety attacks or panic attacks, I look at them as kind of two separate things. What people don't realize is knowing that you're having one makes it worse because you know what it is. And I mean, you would think that it wouldn't make it worse, the whole knowing what's going on, like, hey, I'm not dying. I'm having a panic attack. But no, it doesn't help knowing that it's not real because it's real enough. Should not have worn red. Look like shit. I look like I always do. Anyway, yeah, see, a lot of people don't realize that about anxiety is just exactly like what it feels like. And for different people with different anxiety, it's different. A friend of mine has anxiety attacks and hers are chest pain. Mine is not. I think that I would probably prefer that to what mine is. But no, mine is all intestine based. It could be upper intestine, saying, oh, I don't feel well. I feel nauseous. I feel, uh, uh, I'm sick. And then there's the, ooh, I better go to the bathroom now. um, and it's not really real because like the times when I felt like, oh no, I'm gonna crap myself, I don't. And then when I get home, it's not like I can go to the bathroom anyway. So it's not like it was really a pressing thing. But I thought, oh no, I'm about to crap myself. And even saying something like, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? Some people are like, oh, what's the worst thing that can happen? You can puke on yourself. Yeah, you can puke. With me, it's like, okay, yeah, I could puke on myself. I could crap myself. To me, I'm like, that's no big deal. I mean, I've puked on myself in the car before. Because when you get like a stomach virus, you don't have any control over that. That just hits you all of a sudden. But the knowing that, oh, well, so what? It doesn't really help, because I've tried like all kinds of different things to try to help. Um, the closest thing that I've been advised to do is that actually does help is to like feel my heartbeat. And the therapist said that is the part that you can trust. Everything else is working in tandem with your brain, but your heartbeat, that is working on its own or something like that. So anyway, that's one thing. And then people are like, look at what 5 things can you see? It's like a whole thing if you look it up. I used to know it, but I mean, I think it's like 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can taste. you know, it's basically a mindful exercise to like look outside of yourself, uh, which can be helpful for a lot of people. And I think that on a regular run of the mill anxiety attack, that does help. Um, the distraction. But as I said earlier, I make a distinction between an anxiety attack and a panic attack. I have noticed that even if I take medicine, even if I take Xanax, like most of the time I try not to take it and I'll only take half of a pill. On days when I'm really antsy, like if I know I have to go see the doctor, so I have to travel further than I'm comfortable with, or I'm seeing a new doctor or something like that, I will take the full dose. A panic attack blasts through that. Like you never even took the pill. And there are days I can push through. And I feel really proud of myself because I know that that's a freaking panic attack. And see, the thing about a panic attack is the second that you just, typically the way it works is like if I'm going, I'll take a pill like an hour before I have to leave. So it'll be good and kicked in. Then I'll start driving and I'll start feeling bad. And if I decide to turn around, if I'm like, okay, I'm taking this off ramp and I'm going back home, I will instantly feel better. Gone. But then if I turn around again, it's right back. It's like, hi, I'm here. And lately, my anxiety attacks have taken on a little extra. See, the fun thing about it all is it takes and takes and takes. It's basically like some little kid saying, pay attention to me. And I don't care if it's good attention or bad attention, pay attention to me. So now mine has decided, hey, let's make you dizzy. Let's make her feel like she's going to pass out. Which I know for a lot of people that have the anxiety attacks, that's not like a new thing for them, but it is for me. And I have been told you cannot pass out from an anxiety attack. Now, I have seen occasionally people saying that they have, but from the credited sources I've looked at, they basically all say it's impossible to pass out from the symptoms of an anxiety attack. Now, it's possible that you can pass out because of some other thing that's not commingling, but that's just kind of added on to it. And see, lately, every time I get up, I'm like, ooh, dizzy. But today was a better day than yesterday. Yesterday was just complete shit. It was a shit day. A complete shit day. Today was okay. And while I was out, it was kind of funny. I was out, and this lady that I've known my whole life, she was at the store I was at. And I'm thirsty. She was at the store I was at, and she saw me, and at first I thought she was saying Ian, and I didn't realize she was talking to me. And then she said it again, and I was like, oh, hey. I was so happy to see her. She's got Parkinson's, and I know that she doesn't get out very much. And she come up to me and she says, I know you don't like to be touched, but I want a hug. And I said, okay. And see, I love this lady so much because, see, some people who are huggers, they just do it. You know, they don't ask. They don't think about, hey, this person isn't comfortable with being touched. They don't like, and she didn't even bring me in for a big bear hug. You know, she did like my normal hug, which is to basically touch, you know, you got your arm around somebody and only your fingertips touch them. That's my hug. I'm not like a germaphobe or anything. I just don't like to hug. And I've got a cousin that, oh my God, uncomfortably long hugs. I mean, it's one thing, you know, like I mean, some people will hug for a moment, you know, like 10 seconds. My cousin will freaking hold on to you for a full fucking minute. And oh my God, I was like looking at her daughter and just like, save me, save me. I don't recall being hugged a lot as a child. I think I did get hugged. I mean, I think I recall pictures of me being hugged. As I got older, when my mom would hug me, it would just really like make me cringe. And it's not so much that I don't like to touch people or I don't like to be touched. I do have sensory issues. But a hug does not affect that. I think that my main problem with hugging people in general is a space, a personal space thing. You know, that I don't want them that close to me. You know, like basically the only time somebody's that close to me is when it's a kid sitting on my lap or my husband. You know, I mean, it's like I just don't, but I am not a touchy-feely person. And even when it comes to like I do have sensory issues. Like I can't rub things a lot of times, like, you know, when you massage your kid's back, you know, you're just running your hand down there. I cannot do that for very long. I mean, sometimes my shirt sleeve will bug the hell out of me if it's moving across my arm. And it's basically just knowing how to touch me. You know, like you gotta like put pressure on it. You can't just lightly graze me. That bugs the shit out of me. And Gavin one day thought it was so funny to fuck with me like that. And I mean, literally, I was coming out of my skin. I was just like, oh, so somebody could have put nails on a chalkboard and I would have been less upset about that. And he thought it was so funny. And I was like, dude, it's not funny. This is like a real thing. So I love that this lady remembers that and respects that I don't like that. But, she let me know I was going to get a hug anyway. My husband's got a buddy, has to hug everybody. And I just don't want to hug him. I don't like to hug. I don't like to hug people. I just don't. I don't. It's just not in me, that I am not that person, and I really hate it when somebody is. These people that gotta like keep touching you and touching you and touching you, and it's like, no, stop touching me. It doesn't bring my anxiety up. I just start like getting cringy. Just like, don't fuck with me. Stop it. But back to my original topic, which was anxiety. I am thinking that maybe tomorrow I'll be better. Maybe I'm actually sick. I always think this, I'm always like, well, maybe I'm actually sick. Maybe that's what's happening here. Because you don't know. That's the problem with anxiety attacks, is they feel so real that it freaks you out. Like the people with chest pains, my daughter, when she has hers, she's like going numb. Triggers her, like she just like starts losing feeling in everything. It's weird. Of course, her migraines, they link migraine and anxiety together as far as being in your genes, that if you experience migraines, you're like, I think there's like a 60% chance you'll also have an anxiety disorder. But my daughter, her migraines are different. Like, she doesn't feel them as like stabbing pain in her head. My migraines, which I had one of those yesterday, I can handle bright light, no problem. I will pop in some earbuds and crank my music up, because that loud noise doesn't affect my migraine. It just like it's like it distracts it. But like if I'm just laying there like trying to sleep, it'll just boom, 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 boom in my head, like, I'm hurting so bad. And if I move, but they do link the two together, and it sucks. And you're more likely to have both migraines and anxiety attacks if you're female. Girls just hit the jackpot. This is why I kind of believe that, if God was going to be male or female, God would be male, because what the fuck did women ever do to him? Shit. The least he could have done for us was make it easier for us to get off. The least he could have done for us, or I don't know, just made it where periods would stop. You think about what the fuck do men go through at the end of their life? What comes to you because you're a guy? Oh, prostate cancer, maybe? Oh, yeah, women can't get prostate cancer. But, they don't have menopause, they don't have periods, they don't have all this other bullshit. And then to like get off, it's so freaking simple for them. They don't even have to get in the right mindset. If I want to get off, I've got to be completely distracted. Because if I don't have like some porn on that I'm watching, okay, I'm giving away too much information. Anyway, it's not fair. If I was a guy, I might not have an anxiety disorder or migraines. And I definitely wouldn't have periods, and I'd be happier. I'd probably have erectile dysfunction though. I probably would. That would be my luck. But that's okay, because if this was still the same, I'd be like, I don't use it anyway. No big deal. But at least I'd be able to get Viagra and stuff. I mean, God forbid you ask one of the doctors. Like, I've asked my doctors for Viagra. Never fucking get it. Because they're like, that's an off-label use. Well, why aren't we working on making something for ladies? Get that on-label use. Because we need stuff too. We're over here having anxiety attacks and migraines. We need some erectile dysfunction pills, but not for erectile dysfunction, more like for, I don't know, some horny pills, for the woman who's just fed the fuck up. Anyway, have a good night, and I hope that if you are watching this, I hope and pray that you don't have anxiety attacks. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Have a good night.